Hey, booktube, I'm back. Really? Really? You weren't interfering my first video. You weren't interfering my Flash video. You will interfere Legends tomorrow. You guys remember? You remember this? You remember this fool right here? My pride and joy, my baby. I know. But you're interrupting my video, baby. See? You see the camcording in the back? You see it? But anyway, this is my reaction rant to Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 9, titled, this is cute, titled Raiders of the Lost Art. Not Ark, Art, with a T, not a K. But anyway, we actually find out what happened to Rip when, during that New York attack. We see that Rip is asking about the damages and everything. And apparently he opens a secret compartment in his office, which looks like he took what looks like a stick thing. I don't know what it is. I want to say it might have been the thing that maybe Dark and Malcolm Merlyn were looking for, because it kind of looked like a spear. Hang on for a sec, guys. I hear something. Hey, guys, I'm sorry about that. My dog needs attention. You can see him in the corner. Can't you see him? He's like right there. Lodi, what are you doing? No. Sorry about that. There's also distraction noise. But anyway, like I said, this is Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 9, titled Raiders of the Lost Art, with a T, not a K. But anyway, we find out what happened to Rip. Apparently, like I said, he took what looks like a piece of wood, but I'm only guessing it could be the spear that they're talking about from the thing that Dark, Malcolm, and Reverse Flash are looking for. I want to say it is. But anyway, he goes somewhere deep into the Wave Rider, and he even deactivates Gideon, and apparently uses a time drive to escape or something like that. And I forgot how, but I remember the team learns about the spear, and they managed, I think shoot, what was it? Oh no, they end up in Los Angeles 1967, aka Hollywood, because apparently, what's his face? I think it was Nate or Ray, but one of them discovers two guys getting killed, and Sarah's like, they have no, importance in history. Why is this irrelevant? And it's like, look how they were killed. Look at their autopsy reports, right? And then she looks closely, and they're like, oh, they were killed by techniques only learned by the League of Assassins. And it's like, isn't Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn both from there? It's like, yeah, so let's go where they are, right? And so they end up confronting Dark and Malcolm. They end up finding Damien Dark and Malcolm right after, pretty much after Damien Dark and Malcolm find Rip. So anyway, Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn, they track down Rip pretty much after he's apparently making a movie, which looks very similar to what our Legends have been doing for the past, 1.5 seasons, right? And the main character is even named Rip Hunter, which I thought was pretty funny, and another actor kind of looked like Vandal Savage, which I thought was pretty freaking funny. So he doesn't remember anything, but there's some memories there because his movie is literally his memories from like the first season, right? And so hang on, sorry. Anyway, Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn attempt to kidnap Rip, but sadly, he has no memories of his previous adventures, and apparently, he's in film school training with none other than George Lucas. Baby George Lucas, guys. It's baby George Lucas. But I thought that was freaking awesome because I remember they did say that they're George Lucas, not the real one, but they casted someone to play a young George Lucas. So I was really looking forward to the episode. I didn't think he would arrive immediately after the mid-season finale. But mid-season premiere, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, apparently George Lucas and Rip Hunter are students at a film school, and they were working together on this movie that Rip is directing. That's basically his life, Rip Hunter's life from the first season, which I think is funny. But Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn pretty much corner both guys, George and Rip, and they start attacking them. And the team comes in, they're like, oh my god, it's Rip. And they confront Damien Dark and Malcolm. Unfortunately, the police show up, and Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn escape, and so does the team. George Lucas, out of fear, runs away, right? He's like, no film is worth your life. And he runs away. And unfortunately, Rip gets arrested by the police. And, the team decides, they have to abduct him from custody and take him to the Wave Rider to see why is he there? Why is he in Los Angeles, 1967? Why doesn't he seem to have any memories or whatsoever? And so, while they're doing that, for some godforsaken reason, Nate and Ray, they pretty much become stupid, basically, because Ray can't remember his profession. He can't even remember that he had, like, so many PhDs. Nate goes blah and all that stuff. Hang on for a sec, guys. I'm sorry about that, guys. A lot of garbage men apparently suddenly decided to show up. And this guy right here refuses to, not interfere in my videos. Yeah, no. But anyway, apparently this little encounter, remember when I said George Lucas got scared and, like, took off? Literally got scared so much that he decided to quit filmmaking, and because he decided to quit filmmaking, no more Star Wars, no more Indiana Jones, which resulted in both Nate and Ray to go completely stupid, because apparently George Lucas's movies, Star Wars for Ray Palmer and Indiana Jones for Nate, pretty much inspired them to be in their specialties that they're in now and their powers. And because Lucas quit filmmaking, it pretty much caused an aberration, and now they're basically dumb, right? So, they have to find a way to get Lucas to go back in the film industry so he can make Star Wars and make, Indiana Jones, so they could inspire both Ray and Nate again, and they could be back to their superpowered selves. So Nate, Amaya, and Ray go to meet Lucas to try to, bring him back, while the others stay behind, but as they're talking to Rip, they find out that the fragment, they look at his script from the movie, Rip's script, and it's pretty much their entire lives, and it also describes the spear. And from what they heard from Rip, that he had a piece of the spear. Apparently, in the movie script, the spear is in pieces, and Rip had it, and that's what we saw him take in the beginning of the episode. And apparently he said he gave the fragment to his prop guy, which is, amazingly enough, George Lucas. So the others find out, and they have to go track down Lucas to get that one fragment from the spear. And so unfortunately, Damien Dark and Malcolm end up overpowering Amaya, Nate, and Ray, of course, because they don't have their two of them don't have their suit and powers. And so they pretty much overpower the party, and they force Amaya, Nate, Ray, and George Lucas to pretty much search for the fragment in the dumpster. Because remember, when George Lucas quit, he had like a box of stuff and he shoved it down a garbage chute. Yeah, that's what apparently the fragment was also in there. So he's like, go search for in the dumpster. Which I thought was pretty funny, because the way they were in the dumpster and how Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn motivated them was to pretty much try to crush them in the little garbage dumpster thing, which kind of reminds you of that one scene in Star Wars, when they rescued Princess Leia and they're in a garbage thingy. Yeah, looks just like that, but a smaller garbage dumpster. But anyway, I thought that was freaking cute. I geeked out when I saw that. There were a lot of hints and nods to Star Wars and to Indiana Jones, which I thought was adorkable. But luckily, Sarah and them, the others arrive, and they start battling Damien Dark and Malcolm. And during the whole fight, they managed to recover the fragment of the Spear of Destiny, and they also managed to recover the medallion. But unfortunately, as they're escaping, yes, they got the fragment, yes, they got the medallion, but unfortunately, Rip Hunter is kidnapped by Reverse Flash, who shows up right last minute, and despite the fact that they got the fragment medallion, Rip unfortunately is still kidnapped, which bothers Sarah because she doesn't like leaving others behind, especially now that they finally found Rip, only to lose him to Thawne and Dark and Merlyn. It bothers her, but they're like, you know what? I call this a win. because we got the fragment back and we got a piece of the spear. That everyone else is like, I call this a win, right? Unfortunately, we see, Rip tied to a chair, and he thinks he's gonna get tortured by Thawne, who says, oh no, I'm not gonna torture you. Dark and Merlin are gonna torture you to find the other fragments. The cool thing is, George Lucas, with the help of Amaya, Ray, and Nate, convincing-wise, he returns to filmmaking, hence Star Wars and Indiana Jones were made, and Nate and Ray are back to their geeky dorky selves. Well, that happened during the battle, but you know what I mean, right? And, the team vows to try to find Rip again and rescue him from the clutches of the Legion of Doom. It's like the first time we actually hear them call them that. And I think Nate was the one that called them the Legion, and then Ray started calling them that. Sarah refuses to call them that, which I thought was pretty funny. But throughout the episode, we also see Mick actually gets caught by Stein earlier in the episode talking to himself, and Stein finds out from Mick that he's been seeing like a ghost of Snart bothering the hell out of him, like hallucinations, right? And throughout the episode, Mick tells Stein to help him, fix him, get into his brain just to make Snart go away, right? And Mick pretty much tells Stein, you're the only one who's supposed to, do not tell anyone else, it's just you. So during that whole episode, we also see Mick and Stein's dynamic together. Stein trying to help Mick through his hallucinations. And Stein, despite the fact that, they found a chip in his head, Stein does do a little brain surgery to get the chip out, but turns out that the chip has not been active in a very, very long time. So Mick's hallucinations are not caused by the chip or anything. According to Stein, he thinks that these hallucinations are mainly caused by emotional stuff instead of neurological, right? Sorry, I can't even pronounce neurological. But anyway, Stein's trying to tell Mick, nothing's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with your head. There's no neuro problem with you. This is strictly all emotional. Snart was your best friend, and you lost, he's gone. He traded himself for you. Maybe it's just your feelings, your guilt, or whatever. It's your connection to Snart, your feelings, your emotional feelings to Snart, losing him. That's what's causing the hallucinations. It's more like a guilt thing, And I kind of could see that, if you have a best friend who's practically in a way like family, like pretty much like the only family you have, and he ends up sacrificing himself to save you, I would pretty much have hallucinations too of that person. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would. So anyway, overall, this episode, it seemed kind of slow, but seeing George Lucas, not the real one, but seeing someone play George Lucas in his film student days, excellent. And seeing the fact that Rip Hunter's movie is basically his entire life from the first season, because you see an actor playing, I forgot what his name was. Oh, that's not good. Oh my god, I forgot his name. The bad guy from the first season. I can't remember his name. Vandal Savage, there you go. Seeing an actor in Rip's movie, seeing an actor in Rip's movie playing Rip Hunter, and then seeing one being called Vandal Savage, pretty freaking funny. Seeing a baby George Lucas in his filmmaking days, seeing George actually quit the film industry because he got scared by everybody, pretty funny. And the fact that throughout the episode you see hints of the Star Wars and Indiana Jones world, especially the dumpster scene. The moment I saw that, I bursted out laughing. Especially when they tried to breach the walls from closing in on them. They used a giant pole to try to stop it. Sound familiar, right? I thought that was freaking funny. But anyway, I love the fact that, in a way, George Lucas inspired Nate and Ray to be who they... Basically, he was the inspiration for Nate and Ray to be who they are. Basically, Ray, his inspiration was Star Wars, to be an inventor. And Nate, he became a historian because of Indiana Jones. So, I thought that was pretty cool that George Lucas was pretty much the muse to both guys. And I thought it was pretty funny when George stopped for a moment stopped being a film person and they became pretty much useless and stupid. But anyway, overall, this episode was a very cool nod to Star Wars and to Indiana Jones. I thought it was really cool. But anyway, that is my reaction rant to Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, Episode 9, titled Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I'm looking forward to Episode 10. Bye bye.